What up, Rangers? Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today in this Stevie's Custom Monstrosity video, we have the finished Raw10 Frenzy, I think was the shark's name, that we made into a statue. We pretty much made it into a shark. So instead of being a robotic shark, he's just a shark. He's more Bruce-esque now, if you will. So what I did, we did a live stream working on this guy periodically. I didn't really live stream the painting process on him, but I did live stream how I covered up the section here where the articulation was and the metallic bits, the robot parts, and the tail. This is actually all covered in epoxy putty that I did in 2 layers. I didn't mean to do it in 2 layers. I did it, and the first layer was I covered it and it could still pose, and then I found out he just didn't want the joints here, period. So then we went over it again with even more epoxy putty to cover up everything. And then it was a lot of sanding, lots and lots of sanding. I sanded down everything to try to get the clay to sit as flush to the body as humanly possible. And it looks pretty freaking smooth to me. Same with on this section here, and the tailpiece here used to be the posable bit, but we sculpted this, try to make it look as close to a shark fin as humanly possible, at least as Stevely possible as we can. And then I kept the dive line here, going along the side here, just resculpted it and just kind of blended it in to go along with each side. Didn't do too much in terms of detail. It was pretty much because, especially epoxy putty, you only got really so much work time with it. Pretty much just slapped it on, smoothed it out. And then how to try to make it blend with the rest of the figure is I actually sanded the entire thing lightly. So to smooth out the detailings a little bit. And then after airbrushing it, so we did epoxy, liquor, I airbrushed it. I did a gray primer or dark gray primer for the top section and then sprayed the bottom with white. That's how we got the under section here. Just airbrushed all along here. The mouth region. Same with the tail and under section here. Then after that, proceeded to do a bunch of dry brushing. So just dry brush the grays on top of it just to give it some nice texturing to it. And then that also helps to kind of hide this being a little bit smoother than this section up here. And also when I clear coated it too, I did actually use Rattle Can semi-gloss. So it's not super consistent throughout it, which also really gives it like a nice detail, and I love the feel to it. It's got a little bit more of a rougher texture to it while still having the glossy finish to it. For some of the paint job too, I did some blood scars for the face here. Didn't go too crazy with it, but just enough to make a show off. Same with there's a little bit of red in the giant crack up here. Painted the teeth, which are just done in an ivory color. The inside of the mouth was done in... I can show it off a little better. It's just done in a red as a base and then dry brushed a bunch of pinks over top of it. Then for the side here, for these little sections, initially I had it painted, had it done. He suggested doing a wash, which actually came out good. I didn't do a proper wash over the entire thing. I just did a little bit of a black wash in sections. So around here, along the gills, and where some of the leftover detail bits, I did like a focused wash. Almost kind of like how you'd do like Gundam panel lining in a way is what I did with the shark here to make some of the parts stand out just like a little bit more. And especially around the eyes here too. And inside of the nose. And I just got the black for the pupils. That's pretty much about it. It's one of those commissions where it's like, it's a bit time consuming to do, but it's not the hardest. The hardest was pretty much just making sure this all kind of shaped accordingly with how the figure was. So when it's going to be sitting on a shelf, nothing's going to like stand out too well. It was just a lot of sanding. Lots and lots of sanding. Also, a little trick I did too to try to help from the paint scuffing, especially on here where it's going to be coming into contact with the shelves. I actually used some super glue and went over top of the tips to help keep it scratch resistant. I'm noticing I might have to go touch them just slightly up there. I don't know what came into contact with the this section here, but a slight bit of the white came off. So I'll probably do a little bit of like a white dry brush to help clean that up a little bit before I send them out. But yeah, super sweet. Not the first Raw 10 shark I've done. We did the... whatever the anime is with the shark's crab or shark spider robot thing. We made one of those. And I painted a few Raw 10s to look more like an actual great white shark. But this one's really good. Love the way the coloring came out for it. It's also one of the only times I usually bust out my airbrush too. It's because it's just a lot easier to get the proper lines for it. Granted, when I was dry brushing, I had to highlight these sections a little bit more because my airbrush had a little bit of issue at the overspray on some of the white. So when I was dry brushing, I used that to help clean up a little bit here and there. Oh, also with the tail tip too, one thing I had to do is because of the way the fin was shaped, I actually had to remove some of the bottom of the fin here and added it up here so that I had the right like pitch to it and the right sizing. Like it should be a little bit bigger up here than it is down here, and then I had to sculpt this little piece too. But nice and sturdy. Definitely this thing could hurt somebody. It's not insanely heavy, but it's got a little bit more heft than it used to. But anyways, you can almost defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. Also got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook. Guys, like keep up to date with channel. Donate, greatly would appreciate it. If you guys like to get a hold of me for commissions, best way is through our Etsy or our Discord, which is attached to our Patreon. You can also just message me on my personal Instagram. I think I usually have a link in the description. But the Etsy and the Patreon is my preferred method. And actually, I usually do a little bit of a better deal if you're part of our Discord or part of our Patreon. Anyways, you can always defeat those guys just by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. Did I say that already? We got Instagram, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook? I think I did. I'm getting old. I'm forgetting things already. And another good way to help support the channel, help yourselves, because if you want to protect your custom figure or you got some special figures that you would like to make sure that they don't get dusty or people touching them, maybe you got kids, you want to keep them away from them, I recommend picking up yourself a Boxery modular display case, which you can see here. This one has an LED on the back of it. Don't mind the part peeling. I've messed around with that too much, and I need to redo the LED. But these are modular. You can get them in different sizes. You can get different colors if you want to protect your collectibles. They're all held together by magnets, so they're pretty simple to put together, and also easy to take the front panel off if you want to swap out what you want inside of it. And then that just turns right off. But really awesome way to help keep your figures nice and safe, like my Modular cane that I repainted. We're actually going to make a diorama to go inside of that guy, so I'm looking forward to messing around with this thing more. And if you guys would like to save 15% off your order, if you do decide to get one, you can use the code TheGeekChest at checkout. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.